Isn't that crazy? How our beliefs form our relationships? What can we do about it? Here we go again with the yes but trap. It seems like we don't have the control over our lives, but our subconscious has. And as I mentioned in the other video about the yes but trap, those beliefs and those patterns which are stored in our subconscious are not even ours. They were programmed in our matrix when we were little. Your subconscious has mainly been programmed at the age of 0 to 7. You're like a sponge at this age, and your subconscious is nearly clean slate. You soak up every single piece of information you get from your caregivers or other significant people in your life. For example, they are transporting their belief system over how they speak, how they interact with you, how they treat you, how you see them treat others, and you're assuming for yourself what that means and store it in the subconscious. If we stick with I'm not good enough from last time, it isn't even necessary that your parents tell you that you're not good enough. I had it several times with my female clients that they got the message transported over how their father treated them, because the father often wanted to have a boy instead of a girl, and therefore he subliminal showed them, you're not what I wanted, you're just a girl. I think our parents in most cases are not even aware what they're doing, so please don't blame anybody. When you blame something, you give your power away. Always keep your focus by yourself, what you can do and you can change within yourself. We are not here to change anybody else. We are just here to evolve ourselves, to live our most fulfilled life. And therefore, it's so important to get rid of all those old beliefs, patterns, mindsets, emotional patterns, whatever. I'm Krista, the crazy cat lady. A psychologist and channeling medium and a healer. When I wouldn't have gone through all those stuff and made my experiences, especially with relationships, I wouldn't be here. I'm very glad that I have all this knowledge and I have healed myself. It's my mission to show you those psychological backgrounds, why we behave like this or that. Your part is to make the decision to let old limiting patterns go and decide to take on a new persona. And it's possible. I did it, and if I could, then you will too. Let me explain the yes but trap a little. If you haven't seen the other video, on one side you have the yes, the thing you really want to do, or the business you really want to start, or the feelings you really want to express, or the relationship you really want to feel safe and happy with, whatever. The yes part, yes, I want to have a relationship. And oftentimes in the internal dialogue with yourself or an external dialogue with another person, you will observe yourself or catching yourself with switching to the but there is this and that. For example, when I think about relationships, yes, I want to have a fulfilled relationship, but men always cheat. Men aren't serious about relationships. I can't rely on anybody else. But they're going to leave anyway. But I'm not good enough to have a relationship that lasts. Or whatever. How human this is. Because we have grown up under these conditions, under these societal influences, and our parents did also. From a spiritual standpoint, it seems like that those themes are passed from one generation to the other. You can bet on, if you have a I'm not good enough limiting belief, that your parents, at least one of them, had that also, and they did get it from their parents, and so on and so on. Why should you do something different to stop this pattern? for the generations coming after us. And I got chills big time. I remember a channeling a few years ago where it was so clearly said and stated that we have the power now in our generation at this time on earth to heal us, but also the themes of the generations before us. This is so beautiful. And please don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean that it's your responsibility to heal anybody else. It isn't. And you can enhance your own personal growth. You can heal yourself and get rid of these old limiting patterns. You can free yourself. You can choose a new life. And it takes some devotion and some time. And this is the most important point. You can reach with such small things, such immense changes in your life. Because when you come into a relationship with the belief, hey, I'm good enough, I trust the other, and I know that a person with an open heart coming to me, a healed person with a secure relationship pattern, of course, he or she is interested in having a good relationship. As you can see, this contains a lot of self-fulfilling prophecy, because when I'm heading someone with my limiting beliefs, the other can tell on a subconscious level that there are those beliefs. Therefore, the spiritual community always says the others are mirroring back to us what we send out. That's exactly this in psychology called self-fulfilling prophecy. It's really scientifically proven. What you send out comes back. What is our subconscious? I have mentioned before it was programmed by others because we came to this earth with a clean slate. It's part of the game being here on this planet, in this body, that we have to learn how to cope with the environment, with the society, with others. When you're a baby, you know nothing except your primal instinct. Of course, those automated body responses and body functions, those things are also stored in a subconscious. It takes care of the body functions. That's, for example, the reason when you are afraid of something, that your subconscious is responding to that fear and regulating your nervous system, your heart rate and your breath rate, for example, accordingly to this belief. I used to be very nervous when speaking publicly because I had the deep fear in me of being judged, even the deep fear in me of being killed for my opinion and for my gifts. By the way, this comes from past lives, but those past lives pattern act out in this lifetime to be finally resolved, by the way. But this is a little side point. Let's keep it away for the moment and just concentrate on this lifetime now for the purpose of the subconscious. It's not very useful if I'm speaking publicly to be so tremendously nervous that it's really hard for me to concentrate. It doesn't make any sense, especially nowadays, because nobody is going to kill me if I'm saying something wrong. That explains one important part and role of the subconscious. It's here for our safety and our security, that we are not going to be killed. So it warns us about everything which is stored in there, even if it doesn't make any sense anymore. For example, the limiting belief, all men are evil. If you want to have a relationship with this limiting belief, beside the survival of this human body, it has also the very important role organizing our daily life, for example, automation of routines and habits, because in every single second, a few millions of data bits are hitting us. If we had to process it all with our conscious, it would be totally overwhelming. By the way, if you are an empath or highly sensitive, then you'll see that this is one thing why you are easier overwhelmed. The subconscious takes a lot of processing work away from our brain because it always compares it with things we already know. It's also responsible for storing our memories. It remembers everything, literally. And another part is pattern recognition and filtering. And this has also to do with the overwhelmment if we wouldn't use those automated programs within us. For example, if you're driving down the road you're using every day, you know everything about this road, where you have to go, which turn you have to take, and so on and so on. And how does it work? It has a little helper, the RAS, Reticular Activating System. And this is a kind of filter which filters every single bit of the million bit informations you get every second. And it just lets the informations through which don't fit the pattern or which are in some way else different, or in case you're very interested in. The classical example is you're going to buy a red car. You know exactly which kind of car, the color, everything. Even if it's a quite unusual kind of car, you will see it everywhere in the upcoming days if you start to put your focus onto. That's the reason, because the RAS filters the information accordingly. It's for sure that you always saw the same amount of this special type of car. Because the RAS lets this information through your filter, you get the awareness, and then it kind of lights up in your conscious. The red car. Ha, I knew it. The RAS is, so to say, the filter and the gateway to our subconscious. It helps and it limits us because it lets things through how our subconscious wants to see them and filter them. How you see the world totally depends on your subconscious. The subconscious sets the criteria how we filter the incoming data. Maybe you have heard of the confirmation bias, and that's exactly how it happens. Your beliefs, your values, your patterns, your experiences, all those things form how you filter the information out. Let's come back to the relationship example. Let's pretend you're dating and you really, really feel attracted to this person. If you are very fearful and you have those limiting beliefs, every man is a cheater, every woman is a cheater, or nothing lasts forever and love hurts and such things, you will see this person through this filter. You will see a person who is so highly attractive that this person is going to cheat because everyone else wants this person. And on the other hand, if you were upraised without those limiting beliefs by parents who are very secure in their self, it wouldn't be any issue. You would look at this person without those limiting beliefs and dating with fun and openness and observe the other one and then making good decisions based on that. The subconscious is telling the RAS what to look for, what hints, what keys, and make them bigger as they are. It just wants to keep us safe. It's not here to bring us a joyful, fulfilled life. The most important question of today is, how can we reprogram the subconscious? The same way as it was programmed back then in our childhood. We feed the subconscious with new information, with new beliefs, with new values, with new experiences, new images, with new emotions. By repetition, we can reprogram it. As simple as that. It just takes emotion, repetition, and let's make it to a habit. Imagine it like this. If you're going through a jungle to reach a river, you have taken for your whole life the same way. You have used it so many times that it's quite easy to find it again and to take it again because you're used to, and your RAS is telling you, yeah, I know this one, it's safe and it's leading me to my end goal, and that's it. So it is a well-trodden path which you have used for centuries. If you want to change your subconscious, first you have to find a new path. And it could be that you have to cut a new path with a sword or something like that out of the jungle. The first time it's really hard because it's new all over and you have to find the right way. But you know deep inside of you, and you have made a decision for yourself to find a better way and a faster way. And you know that this faster way and better way exists. So you're making the decision. And the second time, okay, you have to re-find the entrance for your new path. And your subconscious is telling you, shouldn't we take the old one? It's safe and we know it. You stick with your decision to find the better path. You'll go the same path again for the second time. And you can imagine the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time. With every time, it gets a little bit easier. And after 7 days, you can really feel the difference because in your brain, the new pathways between the neurons have been established. And established means that your brain is using the new ones because it was successful and by repetition. If you add some emotions there, for example, yeah, I did it and I found a better way and it's so cool and it takes so much less time, and then your brain will stick to it. But there is a little trap in there. If you are very stressed and under a lot of pressure, it could be that you step back to the old path because those old neuronal pathways still exist. They would never be forgotten. Never. But the brain uses the established one. Therefore, the repetition is so important. So important. After a few weeks, you will recognize that the old pattern is gone. Plants are growing back in the old way, and it's not as attractive as it was for eons. The new one is more attractive then. Maybe you have heard 21 days is the critical number. I have heard from other scientists that it's more, whatever. The most important thing is that you just start and stick to it, and you'll see. I also believe it depends a little how deep those old beliefs are in your subconscious and how stubborn your subconscious is. The topic is how to use the RAS to reprogram the subconscious. First, clear goals. Second, reframing the focus. Visualization. Then affirmations, followed by emotions. And the last one, repetition, which forms a new habit. And out of those points, I will show you how to construct a daily exercise for yourself to help you to free yourself from your limitations out of the subconscious. Ta-ta! This daily exercise is best to be made after waking up or right before going to sleep. Why? In those states, our brain changes to alpha and theta waves. In those states, it's so much easier to reprogram your subconscious. And the next step will be to think about your clear goals. What do you want to achieve? For this example, let's stick to the fulfilled relationship. Imagine yourself what you really want, what is important for you. Everybody's different. Maybe it's important for you to have a loving partner to raise kids, to have a family with. Or maybe it's important for you to have a lifelong partner who you can trust. Maybe it's important for you to have a partner who is more like a friend or whatever. So for this example, let's say I want to have a fulfilled relationship full of joy, mutual respect, trust, where I can feel safe, where we love each other. Beautiful. For me personally, for example, it would be very important that this man is very spiritual, that he's totally fine with it, that I have my own things to do, and my own me time is very important for me. And it would be very important to spend real good quality time together, where we can grow together and all those other good things, Have a good life together. The second point is reframing your focus to what you want. Practically, it would be like this. No, I don't want a man who is cheating. To change your focus to what you do want. For example, I can count on my man. I can trust my man. It feels good. The next point will be the visualization. That means letting those images evolve in your head, which really show the end result. It should feel like, and you should behave like it is already here. That is very important. Oh, maybe somewhere in my future. No, it is already done. The next point are the affirmations. For example, I have a secure relationship with a man I can deeply trust, with a lot of respect and love between us. One of the most important parts of this exercise is to put a lot of emotions in there. Live those scenes. Live in this movie you have inside your head. For example, cuddling up the beautiful Sunday morning with a cup of coffee. Those eyes meeting each other, and you can feel your open hearts. How beautiful is that? And put all those emotions in there, like, I feel so safe, I feel so loved, I feel so seen, and I feel so much mutual respect between us. And I know deep inside, and it feels like this. It is the best relationship ever. And feel the love, feel your heart going out and radiating out to this other person without manipulating. Just feel what you want to feel, what you want to experience. A small thing to mention here, maybe at this point, is quite helpful. It's better to not see the other person with a concrete face. For example, you are trying to get an ex back and you are imagining this exercise with your ex. Then believe me, this is very manipulative. It wouldn't be good for you and for this relationship, because from a spiritual standpoint, it feels like white magic. Putting a love spell on somebody or something like that. And it's never, ever good, because then you bind the other's energy to yourself. You can count on it that it wouldn't work. That would mean that you will attract a person, or this special person, your ex. It wasn't by mistake that this relationship didn't work out, you know. So you will attract somebody back into your life, into your field, into your energy, which shouldn't be there on purpose. Don't do that. If you don't have a partner, the best thing is to imagine a blurry face, so it's not quite clear. Of course, you can imagine that this man has muscles like a wrestling star, or he is just sporty, or he's completely overweight. Tastes are different. You can imagine that he's small or large or your height or whatever. Don't limit yourself with those things, because it could be that you'll meet a really tall guy and you never wanted such a tall guy, but you'll find out that he's the best suitable partner for you. Best practice will be to not focus on such physical things, but more to focus on how you feel in this relationship. Okay? Ta-da, it sounds great. Let's do it. One point is missing: the repetition, which becomes a habit. Just remember the path, the new path, which has to be formed by you with repetition. It would be very helpful if you will do this exercise at least 7 days, and much more better if you do it 21 days or even longer. And if it's not possible for whatever reasons, then leave a day out and do it the next one. Or do it in the morning, and if it's not possible in the next morning because you're late or whatever, then do it in the evening. When you really stick to this plan, you will see how your brain is changing, how your subconscious is changing, and your RAS is helping you with that. I talk too much. Sometimes I talk too much because it's a topic so near to my heart. I just thought I should make a separate video with the exercise. It would be more suitable, then you can look it again and again and then also use it for the 21 days. So, thanks for subscribing, that you wouldn't miss the practical video and all the others, of course. I would highly appreciate if you leave me a comment in the comment section, because then I can make new videos tailored to your needs. This is motivation, huh? I'll see you. Bye.